treatment for people like the Clintons and Wexner, why they don't have to, be walked into Washington, D.C. like a regular American would. So I think there's an argument there that, you can spend time with your constituents where you need to, but also, this is a very important issue to many constituents themselves. And so where should members be spending their time? Should they have allotted, a certain amount of GOP members to go to this or, be placed there? I think that's the question. And I think it caught a lot of people's eye, especially on Thursday and Friday of last week after the deposition.
I believe the members of the Trump family also traveled to the nation.
What's up, everybody? What is up? Let me turn this down. Good evening, everyone, and welcome. Tonight, we're here together to watch the State of the Union address live in real time as it happens. No edits, no filters, just the full address, and our community here to witness it together. No matter where you fall politically, moments like this are important because they give us a direct look at the priorities, tone, and direction coming from the highest office. Our goal tonight is simple: situational awareness, calm observation, and a space where people can watch history unfold together. If you're joining us live, let me know where you're watching from. If you're catching the replay, you're just as much a part of this archive. Let's listen closely, and we'll talk through it together. Y'all, what's up, everybody? Good evening. Good evening. Give me some bro fist. I'm all up in your face. Okay, I'm sorry about that. All right. Well, let's hop in. Let's check it out. Genesis. I think Genesis gets first. D. Duffy, what's up? Good to see you. Very good to see you. Hope you guys are having a great evening.
So I think there is a
Mrs. Unspecified is here somewhere.
It's in a rural area.
He's right over beside me.
And the case in 2019 was closed. Now the state legislature has opened up a new subcommittee to look into this more, and they are using some of the funds that were paid out during that time period in 2019. I think about 2.9 million, I want to say, is around that number. I might have that wrong. It's in the piece, though.
How's it going from California? Man, what's up?
I think that there's also been a development in the last few days that I've received
a
statement from the New Mexico
Alex.
Justice
Good to see you.
stating that they will be reopening a criminal investigation as well into the Zero Ranch there due to the nature of the documents that have been released by the DOJ. They have.
How did everyone make out in the storm
at the DOJ in Washington, D.C. Asking for help.
It's been pretty crazy, some of the stuff that I've seen.
Things like that. So
coming out of New York,
put that statement out on X. Anyone can go take a look at that. But I think New Mexico is one of those areas, and Zorro Ranch itself, due to the fact there was not a lot of eyes there.
Awesome. Ion Solara, good to see you. Says we'll be AFK, off and on making dinner. Awesome. Hope it's yummy. I hope everybody made it out okay in that storm, man. My son in Rhode Island got 38 inches. Holy crap. Okay, that is no joke.
Office, a very sad story,
an
alleged affair with him and a staffer, which I believe is against House rules, if not all congressional rules, when it comes to intimate relationships with staffers. In addition to that, though, the situation where she set herself on fire and committed suicide, just absolutely terrible. Can you tell us about this story?
Yes, well, this happened.
Not bad. That's pretty crazy.
Aviles was the
I suppose you can't walk in that.
Fire. She was a regional director for Tony Gonzalez, and
if you got the right boots on,
he's out of I believe the San Antonio area.
Right boots for walking.
Uvalde, Texas, though. So this is where her death took place, and there was I guess circulation and going on in Texas for months about a alleged affair. So the Daily Caller, we dug into this a little further. We were asking for coroner reports as well, talking to the local police department of any foul play, which there seems to have been ruled there is none. But really tragic death. It caught a lot of eyes, and the rumor mill started, as it does down in Texas, and it made its way up to DC. So we've been sticking on this for months, but now an outlet out of San Antonio, they broke text messages that were sent between Santos Alvias, and so they basically stating that the staffer and him were having an affair. She admitting that to the other staffer. He has currently left the office now and working in other campaigns. But
all right,
the Daily Caller, had other sources stating.
So what are we all expecting to see? Anarchy Television, very good to see you. Hillbilly, good to see you.
I think it's a really tragic
More
scenario.
snow tomorrow. It was
That
taller than the dog. Oh no, the poor pooch.
Investigation for over a year now. We were also
is the tone calm,
trying to figure out if that was
urgent,
true,
aggressive, optimistic, defensive.
And so we've been doing polling. If the
I think Trump will be calm. I think it's going to be a very calm delivery, obviously, but the tone,
people have begun to notice which way they would vote in the GOP.
Okay, especially with everything going on in Iran and Mexico. All right, everything going on with the voter for the F word, the voter F word,
as well as the president has endorsed Gonzalez, which there's been calls.
Are they trying to reassure the country or rally support?
We'll continue to see what happens, but it seems that the text messages of
do they sound confident, cautious, or under pressure? I'll be listening for all that.
We find all of your good work.
I am on X at Brassfield Ashley. I'm on
the Samoan Watchman. What's up, brother? Very good to see you, my brother.
With,
good to see you, man.
The Daily Caller's social media accounts as well as our website on my profile.
He's going to give Iran more time
to follow and watch and have you on the right side of history.
I can already tell you the State of the Union. Anarchy.
Of State of the Union.
I know that's true.
And we'll see you again soon.
That's a good one, bro.
Thank you for having me.
Have you looked at your credit card statement recently? You could be working.
All right, let's see if we can avoid some of these ads here. All right, we got a live stream of the White House right now. Let's see. I'm going to keep monitoring all of our streams. We've got a couple of different streams here. Let me fix this. All right. How's everybody doing? Yeah, rally support. Rally support. 3 of our representatives are. Uh-oh. Looks like I lost my camera. All right. All right. Nothing like some good old technical difficulties to help out. Keep us on our toes here, see? All right. Do what? Got it. Do some dance pop. Keeping us on our toes.
There's Caroline, Susie Wiles, the president's closest advisor, also Caroline Leavitt, the press secretary coming out the doors there, which means the president will not be far behind. Selena, this speech also. Okay, now the doors are formally being opened. We will probably see at a moment now the president of the United States leaving the White House to head to the Hill. And we should point out that, his address is also coming as a war with Iran is looming, Selena. Are we expecting any news on that front from the president, you think?
Well, look, the entire world is going to be watching Kira to see anything that he might say on Iran, because he has already set the stage for what could be the biggest decision of his presidency so far, whether or not to go to war with Iran, as the U.S. has been amassing this massive military force in the Middle East. But the president, Kira, has yet to explain to the American people why he is considering another military. Oh, and there we got pictures here right now of the president and First Lady Melania. They are walking into the motorcade, leaving the White House. We can just see those images there. But going back to this foreign policy side of this, he has not explained to the American people yet, Kira, why he is considering another military strike. No one in his administration has been clear as to what the end goal is here. Is it about reaching a nuclear deal? Is it about regime change? The president did tell reporters today that, quote, Iran wants a deal more than I do. They just can't say the magic phrase, we won't build nuclear weapons. But look, this also comes as, of course, Trump had campaigned on ending wars, bringing troops home, but we have seen him over the course of the year be very aggressive and assertive when it comes to intervening, from the operation to capture Nicolas Maduro from Venezuela to strikes last year targeting those nuclear facilities in Iran. And we just saw the president there waving. He's now motorcading to the Capitol. Not to mention the president's threats towards Greenland, really putting our NATO allies on edge. So, I mean, this is a speech, of course, the American people will be listening to, but really the world will be on edge to read any of the tea leaves in terms of what direction he moves in on Iran.
All right, Selena, thank you so much. We'll see you again right after the speech. So as you saw, the president of the United States and First Lady Melania Trump getting into the beast. They have now left the White House, motorcade in tow, on their way to the Capitol. And while so many Americans, are still struggling to pay for groceries and gas,
motorcade is huge.
Is waiting to hear what the president has to say about the state of our economy. Live pictures from the Hill now, as the president is not far from arriving there at the rotunda, and then will make his way through the halls there, where you see members, mostly members of the press, many aides and staffers awaiting the president. The Supreme Court, Elizabeth, striking down 70% of Trump's tariffs, a huge blow to the president and his economic policy. Now, the president is saying he's going to
What's up, Dopey Dude? Good to see you, brother. Good to see you.
So how the heck is this going to work?
And there are some huge outstanding questions, Kira, after that landmark decision from the Supreme Court to strike down the heart of the president's agenda on economic policy, foreign policy, 70% of his tariffs. And Kira, how fascinating will it be to see the president face to face during this speech with some of those justices who Chief Roberts wrote in his opinion that those tariffs, the president's signature policy, are a tax on businesses and families, something that the president has disputed. We know that the White House is doubling down on tariffs despite that decision from the Supreme Court. So as you say, as of today, there is now a new 10% tariff on most imports coming into the U.S. in effect. The president wanted that to go up to 15%. The White House tells us that's still in the works. But just at the same time that the Supreme Court basically struck down those tariffs, the White House is doubling down. The president likely to highlight the money that they have brought in for the federal government. They say that this is creating jobs, though, of course, it is worth noting that the U.S. did lose manufacturing jobs last year, about 80,000 manufacturing jobs lost. So the question is, how much more does he issue additional tariff threats, Kira? We know he's using other legal authorities now to try to impose these new tariffs. Some of that, though, even in question, and not the same kind of security and broad-based threat as before.
All right, so Elizabeth, we're going to take these are our first live pictures now, Elizabeth, that we're getting from the chamber. The lights have come up. Speaker Mike Johnson has made the call, called the House to order upon the arrival of the Senate. You can see now Vice President J.D. Vance is entering the chamber. Not long after that, we are going to see the Joint Chiefs as well, in addition to Second Lady Usha Vance, that should be not far behind the Vice President there. So, Elizabeth, President Trump campaigned on lower prices, but that's, not what Americans are experiencing right now.
It's not. And a lot of what we will hear from the president is to highlight the areas, I expect, Kira, that we do see prices down. So gas prices are lower. We do see the stock market at record highs, something the president regularly talks about. But when you look at some of those other day-to-day costs where people are really feeling those costs, childcare, groceries, housing, utility bills, those are up. And it's notable, Kara, as we're looking at these pictures of Vice President J.D. Vance, you see Majority Leader John Thune coming in. These new tariffs that have been imposed, it's estimated by the Yale Budget Lab, Kara, it'll still cost Americans
tariffs. What do you guys think is going to be the focus?
These tariffs also expire after 150
Is he going to address Mexico?
Because
this is about addressing the state of the union.
And that is something that a lot of those members of Congress
I'm just excited.
Looking at there have expressed skepticism
Time, my
about
brother.
this
What's up?
idea
Good
that
to see you. Good
they
to see
would
you.
support additional tariffs. They have basically said it's up to the president to do that. So we'll have to see, Kira, how much he calls on members of Congress in this speech to support that part of his economic agenda now.
The members walking onto the House floor there. Elizabeth, stay with us. We want to bring in one of our
Do you guys think tone matters just as much as policy?
He has interviewed presidents, chronicled their stories. Our contributor and presidential historian Mark Updegrove joining me now for a deeper understanding of just how these defining moments and speeches can shape the next 3 years. Our dozens of Democrats are poised to skip the address tonight.
Some O2 SS. What's up, bro?
On the National Mall where we found our Jay O'Brien. What does that tell us just about the state of politics in this country right now?
I think it reflects the political dysfunction that has become a regular part of 21st century life at this point. It's not surprising that they have skipped this. It's disappointing because our government functions best when we have bipartisanship, when we have comity and consensus among the two parties in Congress. And certainly we're not seeing this in the current political environment. I think there's little chance of this, but there's the possibility that President Trump could sound a message of unity tonight. That's what State of the Unions often offer a president the chance to do. And we'll see what kind of message he sounds tonight. But again, I think this is very much reflective of where we are, not only politically, but as a society today with the polarization that is prevalent throughout America, Kira.
And we're seeing the vice president greet, military leaders there, including the chairman of the Joint Chiefs, Dan Kane, as we continue to talk about a looming war with Iran, wondering if indeed we will hear anything from the president about that.
Everybody says, I say Iran, cartel, Ukraine, China, and the golden age will be talked about. Yeah, I think that's pretty spot on. I think that's pretty spot on.
Remember that well. Ronald Reagan after the challenge.
It's like we're moments away now. This is one of the most watched political addresses of the year, I bet.
Our solidarity, to unite us. Is there no such thing as a unifying event in Washington anymore? Because there are times where it sure feels like we are so divided that thinking about unification is a pipe dream.
You're so right, Kira. You think about those great speeches
maybe for the left
presidents during times of crisis. Franklin Roosevelt comes to mind after the attack on Pearl Harbor, which drew us into World War II. And his
Cali, so glad you made it. So glad you made it.
George
settle
W.
in,
Bush,
settle in.
the wake of 9/11. Those were existential crises.
Won't be long now.
That we were facing. We don't have one, thankfully, at this moment. But that doesn't mean that a president can't use the Bowie pulpit to somehow sound a message of unity. We haven't seen that from President Trump. Temperamentally, it doesn't seem consistent with who he is as a person and
oh yeah, immigration as well.
Leader, but
Timmy, what's up, brother? Good to see you.
Offer the
I did come on early.
The president, rather, an opportunity to do just that. I think
we were running around cleaning the house.
Kira, and we heard this.
We had a birthday
earlier.
party for Unspecified Junior last night. It was awesome.
Economy. We're seeing
it was like 8 kids, 2 dads, and a bunch of
Americans
running around gel blasters.
Presidency because they
whatever those little Orby guns are there. It was awesome. It was a good time.
Again. We have not.
Fun was had by all.
President Trump has told us how good it is, but I think he has to show the Americans.
We shucked some oysters.
Understands.
We got some fresh oysters. Okay, a whole sack.
Playing out. He has to understand that
we smoked them on the grill, char-broiled them. With some smoke. Oh my gosh, y'all! So good.
His State of the Union speech.
I'm still craving them
because we do know that the theme. We were told earlier from
yeah, I'm sorry. I was trying to do the Cartman voice.
Strong, prosperous, and
Tobias, what's up, brother? What's up?
The 250th anniversary of the founding of our country, Mark. And
it was a blessed day, Timmy. It was a blessed evening. We had friends come from out of town. It was like a miracle. How could you have planned that? Okay, it was insane. Okay.
Of happiness.
Matter of fact, for those of you who have joined us praying for our friend Miss Tammy, it was her son and his kids that came and joined us, as well as another family and their kids.
This sounds great, but we're going to want to hear from
anarchy. We cannot vote or comply our way out of tyranny.
Making hardworking American citizens first.
He said, making me hungry. And oysters will do that, man.
When we've been talking for weeks now.
We was trying to shuck them and get them ready to be char-broiled and smoked. And we couldn't resist.
Okay.
Pop one open, get a little lemon, a little Tabasco, slurp them up.
We had a feeling that this is probably how his speech would start out, because affordability, if you look at the polling and you talk to the people, that is what is on the minds of Americans right now. How their 401k is doing, how they're,
hey, Sean, my brother, what's up? Just tuned in, catching up.
Can they pay the rent?
2 times feed. All right, well, we'll see you in a minute.
Buy groceries. So it's interesting just looking at the first 2 graphs of his.
You haven't missed much. We're still everything's getting going
into that.
You're so right, and again,
oh wow,
it's affordable.
Look at the characters we've got. I'll tell you, Congress is some characters, ain't they?
Something that James Carville said back in
our representatives
that helped to win Bill Clinton the presidency over the incumbent George Herbert Walker Bush. So, but it's one thing, and pardon the cliche, Kira, but it's one thing to talk.
Mrs. Unspecified, my wife is telling on me in the chat. How dare you tell on me in front of everybody?
Doing to ensure that there is, and I think you were alluding to that in this paragraph, the accessibility.
I know Fetterman showed up in a suit. What?
They don't see that.
What?
You talked about the
I'm used to seeing him in a hoodie and some basketball shorts.
The inaffordability of healthcare, the inaffordability of housing. So he has to address this with concrete solutions, I think, in order to move the needle on the approval rating that is right now relatively anemic, Kira.
Just a little bit of color. I don't know if you saw the shot. It happened sort of quickly, but the U.S. Capitol Historical Society had told us that Speaker Johnson would display George Washington's gavel during the State of the Union address, and we did just see a shot of that. Clearly a nod to America's 250th anniversary. So they are playing up this theme of a strong America 250 years later. Also, it looks like the president is going to start talking about threats to the United States, foreign policy issues. I'm seeing here, as president, I will make peace wherever I can, but I will never hesitate to confront threats to America wherever we must. We are also restoring American security and dominance in the Western Hemisphere.
What's up? Jason,
acting to secure our national interests and defend our country from violence, drugs, terrorism, and foreign interference. For years, large swaths of territory in our region, including large parts of Mexico, have been controlled by murderous drug cartels. Why don't we bring in
All those people in Congress and in that room have never worked a day in their life.
Talk about just
Hold
the
on
impact
now. Some of them were military.
Trump's speech tonight as a war with Iran does loom. I don't see anything specifically addressing Iran so far in these excerpts we've received.
I just imagine all the tentacles in the room.
But definitely,
the Leviathan with all of its tentacles.
He wants to make peace wherever
Am I the only
he can,
one?
and he is addressing those threats, which we clearly have seen him address, whether it's capturing Nicolas
no, they
Maduro,
work you
going
or
after
us.
alleged drug boats, or taking, or I guess supporting Mexico's president as she had her military take down one of the
tie
most
is a good color for JD.
Leaders of a drug
the
cartel
tie game is
in
on
Mexico, El Mencho. Your thoughts as the president is not far into the speech, bringing up what he is describing as restoring American security and dominance in the Western Hemisphere.
Right. I definitely think that this is reflective of the fact.
Why is this reminding me of the show with Keith Sullivan, with where Designated Survivor? Anybody else see that show?
Some of those foreign policy decisions that he's going to make.
Okay, so maybe I don't know why I'm getting Designated Survivor vibes from this.
Virginia Governor Abigail Spanberger, who has a national security lens, as someone who was a former CIA officer, who's
24
about the decisions that this administration has made on the foreign stage, from tariffs to some of these other foreign policy moves.
Y'all look like they were a few chromosomes short.
And I do think that at the heart of these remarks from President Trump tonight, we're going to hear him try to address issues of affordability. It's also important to note that the president has a tendency to go off script. So while we do have,
I can't wait to hear him go off script,
that you have been mentioning and reading off of, it's quite possible that we see the president go off script. And that is what I'm going to be looking for in terms of the tone of what the president might say tonight. Tonight does double as a campaign sort of speech, because this is an election year. We're standing on the eve of midterm elections. The first primaries are coming on Tuesday. And so what the president says here has the capacity to either bring more people into the fold for Republicans, or it could, mobilize more voters to go and vote with Democrats. It all remains to be seen. And so the tone of what the president says tonight is something that I'm going to be watching very closely.
Okay, something else we're watching for. Devin Dwyer, you cover the Supreme Court for us. Apparently, the president has arrived there at the Capitol, which means it won't be long before we see him enter the House chamber. Are you noticing what I'm noticing? I don't think we have seen a Supreme Court justice yet arrive to the chamber. Am I right?
That's right. They're not in the room just yet, Kira, but they advanced the president. So they will go down that aisle in a short time. We know from the TikTok that we've been provided, and they will take a seat front and center, just steps from that podium where the president will deliver his address. This is a high pressure and highly uncomfortable moment for the justices. I've spoken with a number of them who have experienced this in the past, and they really don't like going to this event. It's given how much of a political pep rally it's become, but those that do believe
it will be interesting to watch the characters in the crowd. Right. You know how they are. They don't clap. They don't stand up. They're going to be all disgruntled.
And they know that so many Americans
just
can't
wait.
even pull them out of a lineup. So tonight, just having that chance to see them in the front row, despite all the rhetoric and the division that you've been talking about.
No, you're not the only one, Genesis.
They will be there tonight, sitting, as Justice Alito has put it, like potted plants, trying very hard not to make any facial expressions as the president talks.
A Supreme Court justice that, for the very reason of all the scrutiny, doesn't go, right?
That's right. A lot of people have been talking today, perhaps anticipating that the president might, throw some shade, if you will, at the justices in front of him.
Well, he did it last week.
And he's been doing it on social media.
Yes, he has.
Has that ever happened before? And of course it has. In fact, in President Biden's final State of the Union address in 2024, he pointed fingers at the justices. So did Barack Obama. And that's when Samuel Alito made a face.
Let's listen in to the speaker.
Gentleman from Louisiana, Mr. Scalise. The gentleman from Minnesota, Mr. Emmer. The gentlewoman from Michigan, Mrs. McClain. The gentleman from North Carolina, Mr. Hudson. The gentleman from Pennsylvania, Mr. Reschenthaler. The gentleman from Utah, Mr. Moore. gentlewoman from Indiana, Mrs. Houchin, the gentleman from Oklahoma, Mr. Hearn, the gentleman from New York, Mr. Jeffries, the gentleman from California, Mr. Aguilar, the gentleman from California, Mr. Liu, the gentlewoman from Washington, Mrs. Delbene, the gentlewoman from Michigan, Mrs. Dingle.
Mrs. Dingle.
The President of the Senate, at the direction of that body, appoints the following senators as members of the Committee on the Part of the Senate to escort the President of the United States into the House chamber. The Senator from South Dakota, Mr. Thune. The Senator from Wyoming, Mr. Barrasso. The Senator from Arkansas, Mr. Cotton. The Senator from West Virginia, Mrs. Capito. The Senator from Oklahoma, Mr. Langford. The Senator from South Carolina, Mr. Scott. The Senator from New York, Mr. Schumer. The Senator from Illinois, Mr. Durbin. And the Senator from Minnesota, Ms. Klobuchar.
The members of the escort committee will exit the chamber through the lobby doors.
So are we going to see Supreme Court? Supposed to see witnesses enter before the president, but you just heard the House Speaker announce the escort committee for the President of the United States. So if we see the President of the United States enter the floor, let's listen.
States above. The Supreme Court justices are supposed to follow the diplomatic corps and then the President of the United States. So we do have a few more stops on the way.
Okay, all right. So we just this is something that we're watching very closely. Okay, they're a little behind schedule. Understood. Why don't we bring in Heidi Heitkamp and former Trump campaign senior advisor Danielle Alvarez. So Danielle, President Trump promised a lot of things when he was running for president. He told Americans he's going to help them financially, that he is going to keep the economy strong, that folks are going to be able to afford their health care premiums, their groceries, their gas. What does he need to say tonight? Or is it too late?
Tonight is going to be the story about a great contrast. The president inherited a mess that was created by Democrats and the failures of Joe Biden. And in the year that he has been in office, we have seen economic indicators trending in the right direction. What is important for the president to do tonight is to tout those wins, but of course, lay out the vision for the year ahead. And certainly that is critical as we head into these midterms, as we discuss about how Republican governance can create wins for the American people. And as we try to prosecute the case that Republicans should maintain majorities in the House and Senate working alongside the president. So not only will it be important with all of these eyeballs in this address that he talks about the wins that he has delivered, again, the one big beautiful bill, the tax cuts for middle class families will be very critical for him to talk about, most favored nation drug pricing, Trump RX. But it will be very important as he lays out the path for the year ahead.
What's up, Sukma?
And as he lays out that path, Heidi, what does the president need to say to unite this country, to get both Democrats and Republicans believing in the next 3 years and that they will be solid for every American?
Well, I think one thing he could do is actually lay out a legislative agenda, which he never has. And so when we go forward, I think that if this is about what a great job I'm doing, and that's all he talks about, this is dangerous territory for Republicans.
When you look up TDS in the dictionary, you get a picture of this lady.
To come along and to actually deal
I'm just
with
kidding. I can probably think of some better ones.
All right, I'm going to bring our Devin Dwyer back in because now we are starting to see the Supreme Court justices. Devin, I'm going to let you take it from here. Let's name them, starting with John Roberts.
And you do see these are the 4 justices, Kira, who attended last year's address by the president. You see Chief Justice John Roberts. He has never missed a State of the Union in 25 years. Elena Kagan, the only liberal in that group. Brett Kavanaugh, the president's second nomination to the court and someone he has praised. Kavanaugh would have upheld the president's tariffs in that group. And Amy Coney Barrett, the youngest conservative, she has taken a lot of fire from conservatives given some. So far in the president's first year of his second term, she voted against the tariffs, Kira, but there she is here to attend the president's first official State of the Union address.
All right. And the reason why, let's just, be very clear that we have our eyes set on the Supreme Court justices is because we saw an unprecedented just lashing on behalf of the president when he didn't get what he wanted from the highest court in the land. They struck down 70% of his tariffs, and he was not happy, calling justices disloyal, unpatriotic, that their families should be ashamed of themselves. We're wondering, will he?
Well, he delivered in person.
Yes, and look them in the eyes and say the same thing as he addresses the nation tonight.
And he will walk right past them on his way up to give that speech and on the way out. He's shaken their hands in the past. We'll see if they do that again. But it's important to remind everybody, Kira, as we watch the speech tonight, the president has had an overwhelmingly successful winning streak with this Supreme Court. In fact, of the unprecedented number of emergency applications Trump has made to the court, they've ruled in his favor almost every single time, to expedite immigrants, to freeze federal spending, to lay off tens of thousands of workers, to discharge transgender service members. All of those things were given the green light, at least temporarily. And let's not forget that decision in 2024 when the court gave the president sweeping immunity from criminal prosecution and limited the ability of lower court judges to block his policies. So as much as he may be angry and agitated by the tariffs decision, he certainly has gotten a lot out of these justices, including the 3 that he's appointed.
Mark, just because we're reaching the top of the hour and we are minutes away from the President of the United States stepping up to that podium and addressing the nation with the State of the Union speech tonight, in a time where everything is so political, where there's so much division in our country, how does President Trump break through tonight?
Well, I think part of it is if he's going to reach all the American people, he has to sound a message of unity. He has to understand the plight of all Americans, particularly as it relates to the issue we keep on coming back to.
That's so true,
here,
Genesis.
and that is affordability. Donald Trump will often beat his
there's
chest
stuff
and
we
tell
need
people
done.
how good they have it. But if people aren't feeling that, it doesn't
Barron.
matter. Joe Biden did the same thing. He talked about how great the economy was and how people have money to spend. But that's not what people were feeling. And that hurt Biden. We saw him have approval ratings that weren't much higher.
Barron does look so much like Donald.
Than Donald Trump's at this point in his presidency for the same reason. So you've got to move on that issue.
We're looking at the First Lady coming in to the chamber now, kissing her son, Barron, and her stepdaughter right next to him. And now,
the boy is tall.
Of course, the President of the United States will be coming
Alone
in
silencer.
just
What's up, brother?
moments away now. And
Adam,
as
good to see you.
they
Welcome
all
in,
have
guys.
special guests as well. We know that guests of the president will be Erica Kirk, the widow of Charlie Kirk. Also, Avelia and Gary Beckstrom, the parents of Army Specialist Sarah Beckstrom, the West Virginia National Guard member who was killed in that D.C. ambush just a day before Thanksgiving. The First Lady has
is it Sequa or Seqwar now?
An
I think it's
AI
Seqwar.
advocate, and TEDx
But Sequa has a
speaker,
cool sound.
that will
Sec
be,
Def
with
had a
her
cool sound.
as,
Secretary of
and
Defense.
then we see
Ain't defense no more, buddy.
Treasury Secretary Besant there that just walked in.
Oh, we got a
seeing our
Kennedy.
Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F.
RFK.
Kennedy Jr. You see Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth.
It's not
and
Secretary of
now,
Defense
moments
anymore.
away, we will see the President of the United States. I think Attorney General Pam Bondi as well. A live look at the House chamber. We are now minutes away from the start of President Trump's State of the Union address. The president will make his way through the halls there. Some of those historic statue
Melania
built
sporting
in
the
heavily secured
80s
spaces
Annie
in the
Lennox
US
line.
Capitol. When he walks onto that
Hey, I
floor,
dig it, man.
we will take that speech live. Our special coverage continues right now.
All right. So we'll just wait for everybody to settle in. Can we just fire them all? We always have a Kennedy. What's everybody's thoughts on Erica Kirk? Make sure if you guys are over on X to repost this, share this out with a friend. Ooh, Timmy, fake. Ooh. Sus, I agree. Foxy. If you've looked into stuff, there's stuff to look into. Yeah. Yep. Pam Bondi probably asking, can I make a quick appearance on Fox News real quick? Yeah, sus is a better word. Hillbilly can't say. Ooh, I don't know. She might be more than that, brother. She might be more than just a face. I'll say that. Yeah, it's deep for sure. It's deep. Especially once you find out who her parents are. You know, what they have. And, you know, no big deal. Not a big deal. Just interesting. Is all. I like Charlie and value what he stood for. And I would like to afford my trust for him to her. But there's too much stuff. In fact, I can't think on it too much or I'll lose respect for him. Sad. I don't know about that. I don't know if I lose respect for him. When I was out towing, man, let me tell you, okay, I pretty much exclusively listened to Charlie Kirk. Either his seminars, when he goes to colleges, you know, all the content available. You think Charlie is in protection? I don't know. I don't know. I've seen a lot of interesting stuff. Think so, Foxy? He said, Jackie, who? Oh, Genesis says she's not. I wonder how do we handle that? Maybe another stream we'll get into it a little bit. Let me know if that's something you'd be interested in. Yeah. We'll look into it. Sean, I heard he backed out of the run. I thought he backed out of the. Sean says, with what's happening in California, definitely not looking forward to Newsom being president. I don't think he will be. Independent Mini. United. Sister Fist. Bro Fish. Good to see you. Welcome in. No, absolutely not. But you don't know, man. Like, the Democrats are an all-time low right now. I don't think, I mean, remember, they don't even have a party head. Did they ever get a party head that anyone believes? Because it's not a real movement. Like, it's propped up. You know what I mean? So, I don't think he ever will be. I thought, hold on, I'm going to look it up. Newsom back out run. I saw it on X. Newsom. Okay, never mind. Gavin Newsom has not officially dropped out of the 2028 presidential race. He has publicly denied claims made by Donald Trump that he has. Newsom is widely considered a front runner for the Democratic nomination and continues to build his national profile. And I do believe the Democrats will be desperate enough to go with anyone they think is competent enough.
Mr. Speaker, the President of the United States.
Here we go. Peaceful blessings. Danielle, good to see you.
The president has entered the chamber. He knows this moment is a pivotal moment for him. He was saying, we should point out, John took us behind the scenes here, it is customary for the anchors of the networks and some of the cable news hosts to be invited to the White House under Republican presidents, under Democrat presidents. On the day of the State of the Union, the president did invite a few of us for lunch, and he made it very clear that he will address the economy tonight. Obviously, the polls, this White House, very aware of his handling of the economy in terms of the American people, that they can look at the stock market, but also can look at their grocery bills and recognize that they're not feeling this quite yet. You can see the very warm welcome that he's getting from his Republican colleagues there in the chamber. Let's go right to Rachel Scott, who's also in the chamber.
So annoying
tonight. And
when
Rachel,
YouTube does that.
What do you make of what you see so far? And are there empty seats, as had been predicted by many of the Democrats who said they might sit this one out?
Well, David, I've covered several State of the Unions from this very seat up here in the gallery in the House chamber. There are far fewer Democrats tonight than there have been in years past. And David, what is notable right now as I'm watching the president, look at this, Al Green, Congressman Al Green holding up a sign. I believe I'm looking at it right now. It said something in reference to apes. Black people are not apes, in reference to that post that the president had on his social media account, a racist post that was offensive. That clearly a sign of protest there. Also notable as the president's making his way down toward the Supreme Court justices, David, is some Democrats didn't even bother to turn around as the president entered the House chamber tonight. The Democratic leadership, notably Hakeem Jeffries, was seated.
Look at this sign. You see the sign?
We just saw the president obviously shake the Chief Justice's hand. There's Justice Elena Kagan, Brett Kavanaugh.
Still crying
Amy
about
Coney
that.
Barrett. Of course, he chose Amy Coney Barrett for the bench. She was one of the justices who did not vote in his favor and did not shake her hand there. Did interact with the Chief Justice, but then with none of the other justices. And John Carl, this was a question for the president today. Obviously didn't want to go on the record, didn't offer any answer to us. But it was clear to us at the White House that he didn't quite know how he was going to handle the justices when he got there tonight.
Yeah, interesting, that shake, very quick shake with John Roberts, and then going right by Amy Coney Barrett, who he put on the court.
Of course, we should point out Chief Justice John Roberts, instrumental in that decision as well.
He wrote the decision.
Choosing to interact only with the Chief Justice.
But Trump felt particularly betrayed by the justices that he put on the court that ruled against him.
Neil Gorsuch included in that, though Neil Gorsuch.
Love that gavel too, dude.
This evening, along with the other justices who are not there. By the way, the four justices who did come for tonight's State of the Union are the same four who were here a year ago for the joint address to Congress. Mary Bruce, this president knows this is a critical midterm election year and that the Republicans hold very slim majorities in both the House and the Senate.
David, tonight is the president's best chance to defend his first year back and try to sway skeptical voters to back Republicans in the upcoming midterms. He needs to convince Americans that he is laser focused on that issue that is top of mind for them, the cost of living. He's going to argue his policies are working, but as we know, the polls show so many Americans simply aren't feeling that in their wallets. 57% disapprove of his handling of the economy. And of course, as we've been discussing, this comes just 4 days now after the court delivered that devastating blow right to the heart of his economic agenda by invalidating most of his sweeping tariffs.
This term affordability really gets under his skin. He has said on the one hand, I've won on affordability. And on the other, he says this affordability crisis was created by my predecessor. So it'll be curious to see how he tackles affordability and what the American people are feeling at the grocery store and costs of utilities and housing and what have you. I just want to point your attention at home.
Members of Congress, I have the high privilege and distinct honor of presenting to you the President of the United States.
There you have it, the Speaker of the House with George Washington's gavel tonight, introducing President Trump. Let's listen.
USA.
Let's get some USAs in the chat.
Well, thank you very much, everybody. It's really an honor. Speaker Johnson, Vice President Vance, First Lady of the United States. Second Lady of the United States. Members of Congress and my fellow Americans, our nation is back, bigger, better, richer, and stronger than ever before. Less than 5 months from now, our country will celebrate an epic milestone in American history, the 250th anniversary of our glorious American independence. This July 4th, we will mark 2.5 centuries of liberty and triumph, progress and freedom in the most incredible and exceptional nation ever to exist on the face of the earth. And you've seen nothing yet. We're going to do better and better and better. This is the golden age of America.
There it is, golden age. One side stands up.
When I last spoke in this chamber 12 months ago, I had just inherited a nation in crisis with a stagnant economy, inflation at record levels, a wide open border, horrendous recruitment for military and police, rampant crime at home, and wars and chaos all over the world. But tonight, after just 1 year, I can say with dignity and pride that we have achieved a transformation like no one has ever seen before, and a turnaround for the ages. It is indeed a turnaround for the ages.
I knew they'd do a stunt. Take the sign.
And
Take
we
the
will
sign.
never go back to where we were just a very short time ago. We're not going back. Today, our border is secure. Thank you. Today, our border is secure. Our spirit is restored. Inflation is plummeting. Incomes are rising fast. The roaring economy is roaring like never before. And our enemies are scared. Our military and police are stacked. And America is respected again, perhaps like never before. After 4 years in which millions and millions of illegal aliens poured across our borders, totally unvetted and unchecked, we now have the strongest and most secure border in American history by far. in the past 9 months, 0 illegal aliens have been admitted to the United States. But we will always allow people to come in legally, people that will love our country and will work hard to maintain our country. The flow of deadly fentanyl across our border is down by a record 56% in 1 year. And last year, the murder rate saw its single largest decline in recorded history. This is the biggest decline, think of it, in recorded history, the lowest number in over 125 years, year 1900. In fact, substantially before my wonderful father, I had a wonderful father, Fred, before he was born, substantially before he was born. That's a long time ago. He wouldn't like me to say that, but that's a long time ago. The Biden administration and its allies in Congress gave us the worst inflation in the history of our country. But in 12 months, my administration has driven core inflation down to the lowest level in more than 5 years. And in the last 3 months of 2025, it was down to 1.7%. Gasoline, which reached a peak of over $6 a gallon in some states under my predecessor, it was quite honestly a disaster, is now below $2.30 a gallon in most states, and in some places, $1.99 a gallon. And when I visited the great state of Iowa just a few weeks ago, I even saw $1.85 a gallon for gasoline. Mortgage rates are the lowest in 4 years and falling fast, and the annual cost of a typical new mortgage is down almost $5,000 just since I took office. 1 year. And low interest rates will solve the Biden-created housing problem well, at the same time protecting the values of those people who already own a house that really feel rich for the first time in their lives. We want to protect those values. We want to keep those values up. We're going to do both. And we are going to keep it that way. The stock market has set 53 all-time record highs since the election. Think of that, 1 year. Boosting pensions, 401ks, and retirement accounts for the millions and millions of Americans. Are all gaining. Everybody's up, way up. In 4 long years, the last administration got less than $1 trillion in new investment in the United States. And when I say less, substantially less. In 12 months, I secured commitments for more than $18 trillion pouring in from all over the globe. Think of it, much less than $1 trillion for 4 years versus much more than $18 trillion for 1 year. What a difference a president makes. A short time ago, we were a dead country. Now we are the hottest country anywhere in the world, the hottest. As thousands of new businesses are forming and factories, plants, and laboratories are being built, we have added 70,000 new construction jobs in just a very short period of time. It's getting bigger and bigger and stronger. Nobody can believe what they're watching. American oil production is up by more than 600,000 barrels a day, and we just received from our new friend and partner, Venezuela, more than 80 million barrels of oil. American natural gas production is at an all-time high because I kept my promise to drill, baby, drill. More Americans are working today than at any time in the history of our country. Think about that. Any time in the history of our country, more working today. And 100% of all jobs created under my administration have been in the private sector. We ended DEI in America. We cut a record number of job-killing regulations, and in 1 year, we have lifted 2.4 million Americans, a record, off of food stamps. And for all of these reasons, I say tonight, members of Congress, the state of our union is strong. Our country is winning again. In fact, we're winning so much that we really don't know what to do about it. People are asking me, please, 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 Mr. President, we're winning too much. We can't take it anymore. We're not used to winning in our country. Until you came along, we're just always losing, but now we're winning too much. And I say, no, 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 you're going to win again. You're going to win big. You're going to win bigger than ever. And to prove that point, here with us tonight is a group of winners who just made the entire nation proud. The men's gold medal Olympic hockey team. Come on in.
Got a special guest.
Go ahead. Thank you. That's the first time I've ever seen them get up. And actually, not all of them did get up. But they beat a fantastic Canadian team in overtime, as everybody saw, as did the American women who will soon be coming to the White House. They were in the Oval Office before. And I just want to say a second very big congratulations to Team USA. But I have to say that, and I told them this, and we took a vote of the team. I said, anybody votes no, I'm not doing it. So they stood there and they weren't about to say no, because I've never seen a goaltender play as well as goalie Connor Hellebuck. Think of it, 46 shots on goal. And I asked him, the one shot, the one where you put your stick in the back and it hit the neck of your stick and bounced off. Do you practice that, or was that a little lucky? He refused to answer that question. But I just want to tell you that the members of this great hockey squad will be very happy to hear, based on their vote and my vote, and in this case, my vote was more important, that I will soon be presenting Connor with our highest civilian honor, which we will be given and which has been given to many athletes over the years. But when I say many, not too many, like 12, it's called the highest civilian honor in our country, the Presidential Medal of Freedom. Great athletes have gotten that, very great, the best. And I thought he deserved it. And I did take a vote, every single one of them. I said, I'm not giving it if anybody goes no. And every single one of them rapidly put up their hand. So I want to thank you. What a special job you did. What special champions you are. Thank you very much.
They look like a pack of losers, man. The Democrats.
I'm also pleased to say that the next time the Olympic torch is lit, it will be here in America for the 2028 Olympics. And it's the summer version right in Los Angeles. We're going to do a good job in Los Angeles.
I do love those sweaters, too. Gonna have to get those sweaters.
And Los Angeles is going to be safe, just like Washington, D.C. is now one of the safest cities in the country. And this year, and I must say I got them both. I got them in the first term, and I was disappointed because I didn't think I'd be the president when this happened. But strange things took place. And now I've got them because I got the Olympics and I got the 2026 FIFA World Cup. And I wanted to claim the 250th, but I didn't get away with that one. I couldn't claim that one for myself. But we're getting the World Cup. So we have the World Cup and the Olympics coming. And that is exciting news. So this will be a year to celebrate our country and the heroes who have kept it free. Men like Buddy Taggart. At age 17, Buddy volunteered to defend America in World War II, serving in the Pacific under the great General Douglas MacArthur. He fought bravely in the famous Battle of Manila, worked so hard. He was badly wounded and almost killed by enemy machine guns in Luzon. And 81 years ago this month, he liberated the largest internment camp in the Philippines, one of the largest anywhere in the world. Buddy earned many honors, including a Purple Heart and a Bronze Star, came home, started a family, and tonight he is in the gallery looking forward to July 4th, 2026, his 100th birthday. So, buddy, you're a brave man, and we salute you. Even in times of challenge, setback, and immense heartache, the spirit of 1776 has always shone through very brightly. It was July 4th of last year when floodwaters tore through a girls' summer camp in Central Texas. One of the worst things I've ever seen. I was there, rising 26 feet in the matter of minutes, tragically claiming many, many lives. You all remember that one. As the waters threatened to sweep her away, 11-year-old Millie Kate McClelland closed her eyes and prayed to God. She thought she was going to die. Those prayers were answered when Coast Guard rescue swimmer Scott Ruskin descended from a helicopter above. Nobody knew where he came from. It was Scott's first ever rescue mission, a young guy, but very brave, very, very top, always top in his class. And he lifted not just Millie Kate, but 164 others to safety. People watched Scott from a distance, and they couldn't believe what they were seeing. The winds were blowing, the rain was pouring, everything was going, and that rapid water, nobody's ever seen anything like it. They said, wow, that's something. Tonight, Scott and Millie Kate are here together, reunited for the very first time. Thank you, Scott, Millie Kate. And Petty Officer Ruskin, I'm pleased to inform you that I am now awarding you the Legion of Merit for extraordinary heroism, which is what it was, extraordinary heroism. Thank you. And I'd like to have the military aide to please come down and take care of the service. Military aide, thank you very much. Take care of that very important service. Thank you very much. From 1776 to today, every generation of Americans has stepped forward to defend life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And they're really doing it for the next generation. But now it's our turn. Together, we're building a nation where every child has the chance to reach higher and go further, where government answers to the people, not the powerful, and where the interests of hardworking American citizens are always our first and ultimate concern. That is the debt we owe to the heroes who came before us, and that is the promise we must keep to America for our 250th year. Last year, I urged this Congress to begin the mission by passing the largest tax cuts in American history, and our Republican majorities delivered so beautifully. Thank you, Republicans. All Democrats, every single one of them, voted against these really important and very necessary massive tax cuts.
I love that he called him on it.
They wanted large-scale tax increases to hurt the people instead.
Love that he called him on it.
The great, big, beautiful bill. We gave you no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and no tax on Social Security for our great seniors. And we also made interest on auto loans tax deductible the first time, but only if the car is made in America.
Made in America.
Recently in Pennsylvania, I met Megan Hemhauser, a devoted mom who's homeschools her children, beautiful, 2 children, during the day while waiting tables at night as her husband works overtime operating very heavy equipment. Megan is here this evening and she's happy to tell you that she is so much richer because with no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and her expanded child tax credit done again by Republicans, Megan and her husband will take home more than $5,000 extra just for the year, cutting her tax bill in more than half. Megan, please stand up. We're fighting for you, Megan. Thank you.
Homeschool is the way.
Thank you, Megan. We're fighting for you, Megan. Under our bill, parents like Megan can also activate their children's brand new Trump accounts. And I didn't name it. I did not name that. Nobody believes me, but I did not name it. It was named by a very tall man sitting right there in the third row. Nice man, a good man. Tax-free investment accounts for every American child. This is something that's so special and has taken off and gone through the roof. Millions will be pre-funded courtesy of the U.S. Treasury and private individuals like Michael and Susan Dell, who have donated $6.25 billion to fund the Trump accounts for 25 million American children. They're great people. When I asked Michael Dell, how do you make all that money? He said, well, I just sat on my dorm in school and I made computers and I'd sell them to people. And I just kept selling and selling and selling. And pretty amazing story. That's called the American dream. He sold a lot of computers, a lot of those laptops. So I congratulate him on that. But I really thank him and Susan, as well as others like Brad Gerstner, a very tremendous guy. He was behind it right from the beginning. Brad Gerstner. Thank you, Brad. So with modest additional contributions, these young people's accounts could grow to over $100,000 or more by the time they turn 18. Think of it. How much money is that for somebody that started with nothing? Over 100,000, could be much more than that. To make this investment in our children's future, go to trumpaccounts.gov, trumpaccounts.gov. And a lot of people are doing it. They're setting every record in the book. It's popular. They knew what it was going to take. I'm so proud of them. I'm so proud of the people that got it started. And now it's just taken off. One of the primary reasons for our country's stunning economic turnaround, the biggest in history, where the Dow Jones broke 50,000 4 years ahead of schedule, and the S&P hit 7,000, where it wasn't supposed to do it for many years were tariffs. I used these tariffs, took in hundreds of billions of dollars to make great deals for our country, both economically and on a national security basis. Everything was working well. Countries that were ripping us off for decades are now paying us hundreds of billions of dollars. They were ripping us so badly, you all know that. Everybody knows it. Even the Democrats know it. They just don't want to say it. And yet these countries are now happy, and so are we. We made deals. The deals are all done. And they're happy. They're not making money like they used to, but we're making a lot of money. There was no inflation, tremendous growth. And the big story was how Donald Trump called the economy correctly, and 22 Nobel Prize winners in economics didn't. They got it totally wrong. They got it really wrong. And then just 4 days ago, an unfortunate ruling from the United States Supreme Court. It just came down. It came down. Very unfortunate ruling. But the good news is that almost all countries and corporations want to keep the deal that they already made, right, Scott? Knowing that the legal power that I, as president, have to make a new deal could be far worse for them, and therefore they will continue to work along the same successful path that we had negotiated before the Supreme Court's unfortunate involvement. So despite the disappointing ruling, these powerful country saving, it's saving our country, the kind of money we're taking in, peace protecting. Many of the wars I settled was because of the threat of tariffs. I wouldn't have been able to settle them without. Will remain in place under fully approved and tested alternative legal statutes. And they have been tested for a long time. They're a little more complex, but they're actually probably better, leading to a solution that will be even stronger than before. Congressional action will not be necessary. It's already time tested and approved. And as time goes by, I believe the tariffs paid for by foreign countries will, like in the past, substantially replace the modern day system of income tax, taking a great financial burden off the people that I love. Right?
Schumer looks evil. The way he's sitting there.
Factories, jobs, investment, and trillions of dollars will continue pouring into the United States of America because we finally have a president who puts America first. I put America first. I love America. For decades before I came along, we had the exact opposite. From trade to healthcare, from energy to immigration, everything was stolen and rigged in order to drain the wealth out of the productive, hardworking people who make our country great, who make our country run. Under Biden and his corrupt partners in Congress and beyond, it reached a breaking point with the Green New Scam, open borders for everyone. They poured in by the millions and millions from prisons, from mental institutions. They were murderers, 11,888 murders. They came into our country. You allowed that to happen. And record-setting inflation that cost the typical family $34,000 in just a speck of time. Now the same people in this chamber who voted for those disasters suddenly used the word affordability, a word. They just used it. Somebody gave it to them, knowing full well that they caused and created the increased prices that all of our citizens had to endure. You caused that problem. You caused that problem.
I love he's calling them out, dude.
They knew their statements were a lie. They knew it. They knew their statements were a dirty, rotten lie. Their policies created the high prices Our policies are rapidly ending them. We are doing really well. Those prices are plummeting downward. The price of eggs is down 60%. Madam Secretary, thank you. The cost of chicken, butter, fruit, hotels, automobiles, rent is lower today than when I took office by a lot. And even beef, which was very high, is starting to come down significantly. Just hold on a little while. We're getting it down. And soon you will see numbers that few people would think were possible to achieve just a short time ago. Nobody can believe when they see the kind of numbers, and especially energy, when they see energy going down to numbers like that, they cannot believe it. It's like another big tax cut. I'm also confronting one of the biggest ripoffs of our times, the crushing cost of health care caused by you. Since the passage of the Unaffordable Care Act, sometimes referred to as Obamacare, big insurance companies have gotten rich. It was meant for the insurance companies, not for the people. With our government giving them hundreds and hundreds of billions of dollars a year as their stock prices soared 1,000, 1,200, 1,400, and even 1,700%, like nothing else. That's why I introduced the great healthcare plan. I want to stop all payments to big insurance companies and instead give that money directly to the people so they can buy their own health care, which will be better health care at a much lower cost. In addition, my plan requires maximum price transparency. That's a big deal. Sounds so simple, so big. And I did that in my first term, and the Democrats immediately terminated it with full knowledge that they were doing a very bad thing for the people. Costs were going to go way up, and that's what happened. And now I'm bringing them way down on health care and everything else. I'm also ending the wildly inflated cost of prescription drugs like has never happened before. Other presidents tried to do it, but they never could. They tried. Most didn't try, actually. But they tried. They said they tried. They couldn't do it. They didn't even come close. They were all talk and no action. But I got it done. Under my just enacted most favored nation agreements, Americans who have for decades paid by far the highest prices of any nation anywhere in the world for prescription drugs will now pay the lowest price anywhere in the world for drugs. Anywhere, the lowest price. So in my first year of the second term, should be my third term, but strange things happen. I took prescription drugs, a very big part of healthcare, from the highest price in the entire world to the lowest. That's a big achievement. The result is price differences of 300, 400, 500, 600% and more. All available right now at a new website called TrumpRx.gov. And I didn't name that one either, by the way. And here tonight is the very first customer ever to get that big discount, and it is big. Catherine Rayner. For 5 years, she and her husband have struggled with infertility, and they turned to IVF. One drug has been costing Catherine $4,000 to purchase. But a few weeks ago, she logged onto the Trump RX website and got that same drug that cost $4,000, got it for under $500, a reduction of much more, actually, than $3,500. Catherine, we are all praying for you, and you're going to be a great mom. So now I'm calling on Congress to codify my most favored nation program into law. Now, the one thing I'm not sure it matters because it's going to be very hard for somebody that comes along after me to say, let's raise drug prices by 700 or 800%. But John and Mike, if you don't mind, codify it anyway. They may do it. Codify it anyway. Thank you. Many Americans are also concerned that energy demand from AI data centers could unfairly drive up their electric utility bills. Tonight, I'm pleased to announce that I have negotiated the new Ratepayer Protection Pledge. You know what that is? We're telling the major tech companies that they have the obligation to provide for their own power needs. They can build their own power plants as part of their factory so that no one's prices will go up. And in many cases, prices of electricity will go down for the community and very substantially down. This is a unique strategy never used in this country before. We have an old grid. It could never handle the kind of numbers, the amount of electricity that's needed. So I'm telling them they can build their own plant. They're going to produce their own electricity. It will ensure the company's ability to get electricity while at the same time lowering prices of electricity for you, and could be very substantial for all of you cities and towns. You're going to see some good things happen over the next number of years. Another pillar of the American dream that has been under attack is home ownership. With us tonight is Rachel Wiggins, a mom of two from Houston. She placed bids on 20 homes and lost all of those bids to gigantic investment firms that bypassed inspection, paid all cash, and turned those houses into rentals, stealing away her American dream. She was devastated. Stories like this are why last month I signed executive order to ban large Wall Street investment firms from buying up into thousands single-family homes. And now I'm asking Congress to make that ban permanent because homes for people, really, that's what we want. We want homes for people, not for corporations. Corporations are doing just fine. Rachel, thank you very much. Good luck with your home. You'll get one soon. We're also working to make it easier for Americans to save for retirement. And under this administration, we will always protect Social Security and Medicare. They are not protecting it for our seniors. We will always protect Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid. Since I took office, the typical 401k balance is up by at least $30,000. That's a lot of money. We have millions and millions of people, because the stock market has done so well, setting all those records. Your 401ks are way up. Yet half of all of working Americans still do not have access to a retirement plan with matching contributions from an employer. To remedy this gross disparity, I'm announcing that next year my administration will give these often forgotten American workers, great people, the people that built our country, access to the same type of retirement plan offered to every federal worker. We will match your contribution with up to $1,000 each year. As we ensure that all Americans can profit from a rising stock market, let's also ensure that members of Congress cannot corruptly profit from using insider information. They stood up for that. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. Did Nancy Pelosi stand up if she was here? Doubt it. Pass the Stop Insider Trading Act without delay. I wasn't sure if anybody even on this side was going to applaud for that. I'm very impressed. Thank you. I'm very impressed. But when it comes to the corruption that is plundering, it's plundering America. There's been no more stunning example than Minnesota, where members of the Somali community have pillaged an estimated $19 billion from the American taxpayer. Oh, we have all the information. And in actuality, the number is much higher than that. And California, Massachusetts, Maine, and many other states are even worse. This is the kind of corruption that shreds the fabric of a nation, and we are working on it like you wouldn't believe. So tonight, although started 4 months ago, I am officially announcing the war on fraud to be led by our great Vice President, J.D. Vance. We'll get it done. And if we're able to find enough of that fraud, we will actually have a balanced budget overnight. It'll go very quickly. That's the kind of money you're talking about. We'll balance our budget. The Somali pirates who ransacked Minnesota remind us that there are large parts of the world where bribery, corruption, and lawlessness are the norm, not the exception. Importing these cultures through unrestricted immigration and open borders brings those problems right here to the USA. And it is the American people who pay the price in higher medical bills, car insurance rates, rent, taxes, and perhaps most importantly, crime. We will take care of this problem. We're going to take care of this problem. We are not playing games. Delilah. Delilah Colton was only 5 years old in June 2024 when a 18-wheel tractor trailer plowed into her stopped car traveling at 60 miles an hour or more. The driver was an illegal alien let in by Joe Biden and given a commercial driver's license by open borders politicians in California. Doctors said Delilah would never be able to walk or talk, have a good life. She wouldn't even be able to eat again. But against all odds, she is now in the first grade learning to walk. And she's here this evening with her dad, Marcus, a fantastic man. Delilah, please, you are a great inspiration. Please stand up. Thank you, Delilah. Many, if not most, illegal aliens do not speak English and cannot read even the most basic road signs as to direction, speed, danger, or location. That's why tonight I'm calling on Congress to pass what we will call the Delilah Law, barring any state from granting commercial driver's licenses to illegal aliens. And yesterday, as you probably saw at the White House, I hosted a ceremony with Americans who lost their treasured loved ones to the scourge of illegal immigration. People came into our country, how we allowed this to happen with our open borders. These are the angel moms and families that for decades our government betrayed and our media totally ignored. It was terrible. Hard to believe, actually. In 2023, a 16-year-old high school cheerleader named Elizabeth Medina was supposed to perform in her town's Christmas parade, but she never arrived. Her mother, Jacqueline, went home to look for her, and she found her lying dead in a bathtub bleeding profusely after being stabbed 25 times. Lizbeth's killer was a previously arrested illegal alien who had broken in and brutally extinguished the brightest light in her family's life, violently and viciously. Her heartbroken mother is in the gallery to remind everyone in this chamber exactly why we are deporting illegal alien criminals to our country at record numbers, and we're getting them the hell out of here fast. We don't want them. Thank you very much, Jacqueline. Thank you. We can never forget that many in this room not only allowed the border invasion to happen before I got involved, but indeed they would do it all over again if they ever had the chance. If they ever got elected, they would open up those borders to some of the worst criminals anywhere in the world. The only thing standing between Americans and a wide open border right now is President Donald J. Trump and our great Republican patriots in Congress. Thank you. Thank you. As we speak, Democrats in this chamber have cut off all funding for the Department of Homeland Security. It's all cut off. It's all cut off. They have instituted another Democrat shutdown, the first one costing us 2 points on GDP. 2 points we lost on GDP, which probably made them quite happy, actually. Now they have closed the agency responsible for protecting Americans from terrorists and murderers. Tonight, I'm demanding the full and immediate restoration of all funding for the border security, Homeland Security of the United States, and also for helping people clean up their snow. We have no money because of the Democrats, and it would be nice. We'd love to give you a hand at cleaning it up, but you gave no money. Nobody's getting paid. It's a shame. So you have to think about it. We have, in case you didn't know, a pretty large snowstorm out there. One of the great things about the State of the Union is how it gives Americans the chance to see clearly what their representatives really believe. So tonight, I'm inviting every legislator to join with my administration in reaffirming a fundamental principle. If you agree with this statement, then stand up and show your support. The first duty of the American government is to protect American citizens, not illegal aliens.
Thank you, Dragon Slayer. Thank you so much for the super chat. $20 super chat, my man, my man.
Isn't that a shame? You should be ashamed of yourself not standing up. You should be ashamed of yourself. That is why I'm also asking you to end deadly sanctuary cities that protect the criminals and enact serious penalties for public officials who block the removal of criminal aliens. In many cases, drug lords, murderers all over our country, they're blocking the removal of these people out of our country, and you should be ashamed of yourself. And perhaps most importantly, I'm asking you to approve the Save America Act.
We definitely have a problem in our country, man.
Stop illegal aliens and others who are unpermitted persons from voting in our sacred American elections. That cheating is rampant in our elections. It's rampant. It's very simple. All voters must show voter ID. All voters must show proof of citizenship in order to vote. And no more crooked mail-in ballots except for illness, disability, military, or travel. None. And this should be an easy one. And by the way, it's polling at 89%, including Democrats, 89%. And even the new communist mayor of New York City, I think he's a nice guy, actually. He's become a lot bad policy, but nice guy. Just said they want people to shovel snow. They got hit hard. Wants them to shovel snow, but if you apply for that job, you need to show 2 original forms of ID and a Social Security card. Yet they don't want identification for the greatest privilege of them all, voting in America. No, it's no good. No good. Both Republicans and Democrats overwhelmingly agree on the policy that we just enunciated. And Congress should unite and enact this common sense, country-saving legislation right now, and it should be before anything else happens. And the reason they don't want to do it, why would anybody not want voter ID? One reason, because they want to cheat. There's only one reason. They make up all excuses. They say it's racist. They come up with things. You almost say, what imagination they have. They want to cheat. They have cheated. And their policy is so bad that the only way they can get elected is to cheat. And we're going to stop it. We have to stop it, John. And here is one more opportunity to show common sense in government. In the gallery tonight are Sage Blair and her mother, Michelle. In 2021, Sage was 14 when school officials in Virginia sought to socially transition her to a new gender, treating her as a boy and hiding it from her parents. Hard to believe, isn't it? Before long, a confused Sage ran away from home after she was found in a horrific situation in Maryland A left-wing judge refused to return Sage to her parents because they did not immediately state that their daughter was their son. Sage was thrown into an all-boys state home and suffered terribly for a long time. But today, all of that is behind them because Sage is a proud and wonderful young woman with a full ride scholarship to Liberty University. Sage and Michelle, please stand up. And thank you for your great bravery. And who can believe that we're even speaking about things like this? 15 years ago, if somebody was up here and said that, they'd say, what's wrong with him? But now we have to say it because it's going on all over numerous states without even telling the parents. But surely we can all agree no state can be allowed to rip children from their parents' arms and transition them to a new gender against the parents' will. Who would believe that we're even talking about this? We must ban it, and we must ban it immediately.
Sitting on their phones.
Look, nobody stands up. These people are crazy. I'm telling you, they're crazy. Amazing. 7. Boy, oh boy. We're lucky we have a country. With people like this, Democrats are destroying our country, but we've stopped it just in the nick of time, didn't we? No one cares more about protecting America's youth than our wonderful First Lady, now a movie star. She's a movie star. Can you believe it? Who would have believed that? Over the past year, she has had an incredible impact championing AI legislation, advancing a landmark executive order on foster care, and helping secure $30 million to launch the Melania Trump Foster Youth to Independence Initiative. It's a tremendous really a tremendous thing that happened and had a lot of bipartisan support. She gets much better bipartisan support than I do. I get none. She gets a lot. Someday you're going to have to tell me how you did that. And students and educators in every state have joined the First Lady's efforts in the presidential AI challenge, keeping America's next generation positioned to succeed and strongly succeed in the future. Tonight, we welcome 2 young people whose lives reflect the First Lady's impact, Sierra Burns and Everest Nevermont. Thank you both. And Melania, thank you. I know how hard you worked on it. Thank you very much. I'm very proud to say that during my time in office, both the first 4 years and in particular this last year, there has been a tremendous renewal in religion, faith, Christianity, and belief in God. Tremendous renewal. This is especially true among young people, and a big part of that had to do with my great friend, Charlie Kirk, a great guy, great man. So last year, Charlie was violently murdered by an assassin and martyred, really martyred for his beliefs. His wonderful wife, Erica, is with us tonight. Erica, please stand. Thank you, Erica. Been through a lot. In Charlie's memory, we must all come together to reaffirm that America is one nation under God, and we must totally reject political violence of any kind. We love religion, and we love bringing it back, and it's coming back at levels that nobody actually thought possible. It's really a beautiful thing to see. Above all, unleashing America's promise requires keeping our communities safe. We have made incredible strides, yet dangerous repeat offenders continue to be released by pro-crime Democrat politicians again and again. We are honored to be joined tonight by a woman who's been through hell, Anya Zaretska. In 2022, she and her beautiful daughter, so beautiful, what a beautiful young woman, Irina, fled war-torn Ukraine to live with relatives near Charlotte, North Carolina. And by the way, what's going on with Charlotte? Last summer, 23-year-old Irina was riding home on the train when a deranged monster who had been arrested over a dozen times and was released through no cash bail, stood up and viciously slashed a knife through her neck and body. No one will ever forget. There were people on that train. No one will ever forget the expression of terror on Irina's face as she looked up at her attacker in the last seconds of her life. She died instantly. She had escaped a brutal war only to be slain by a hardened criminal, set free to kill in America, came in through open borders. Mrs. Zaretska, tonight I promise you we will ensure justice for your magnificent daughter, Irina.
Notice the difference?
How do you not stand? How do you not stand? I'm asking this Congress to pass tough legislation to ensure that violent and dangerous repeat offenders are put behind bars, and importantly, that they stay there. Yeah. Starting last summer, I deployed our National Guard and federal law enforcement to restore law and order to our most dangerous cities, including Memphis, Tennessee, big success, New Orleans, Louisiana, big success, and our nation's capital itself, Washington, D.C., where we have almost no crime anymore in Washington, D.C. How did that happen? In fact, crime in Washington is now at the lowest level ever recorded, and murders in D.C. this January were down close to 100% from a year ago. They don't like to hear that. One of the sick people, one of the brave service members who helped achieve this stunning turnaround was 20-year-old West Virginia Army National Guard Specialist Sarah Beckstrom. After a 4-month deployment, she voluntarily extended her service, and her rank was going to be lifted. She was doing so well. They were so proud of her. But the very next day, she was on patrol near the White House when she was ambushed and shot in the head by a terrorist monster from Afghanistan. Shouldn't have been in our country. And all because she wore the uniform of our nation, she was shot. He traveled here because he didn't like people wearing our uniform. He was sick and deranged, shouldn't have been in our country. Sarah Beckstrom died in order to defend our capital, and we are honored to be joined by her wonderful parents, Gary and Evalie. Your daughter was a true American patriot, and she will be greatly missed. She was a great person. I saw reports on her. They've never seen anything like her. So sorry. Thank you very much. A great young lady. I saw reports that were like, perfect. She was perfect. Serving alongside Sarah that day was Staff Sergeant Andrew Wolf. The terrorist shot Andrew in the head, and no one thought he could possibly make it. The two of them, Sarah and Andrew, both shot violently in the head. Neither was expected to make it. They weren't even given a chance, except his wonderful mother, named Melody, who I spoke to the same night. And she was so positive. The doctors thought that Andrew was gone. But his mother said, no, Mr. President, Andrew will be fine. He's going to make it. I've never seen anything like it. I mean, he was given almost no chance. She said, I have no doubt, sir, he's going to be okay. This was a conversation that I had with her that night, with her son laying helplessly in bed, blood all over. Everybody is praying, she said, sir, he will be okay. The doctors didn't understand what she was saying. And after looking at the results of the damage done, neither did I. She was so strong and conclusive that even Andrew's great father felt she didn't really understand the gravity of the situation. But she turned out to be right. Right, Melanie? She turned out to be right.
Prayer works, folks.
Amazing, actually. I said, where does this woman come from? She's the most positive person I've ever met. With God's help, Andrew has battled back from the edge of death, and we're talking about the edge of death, on his way to a miraculous recovery. He's got a little work to do, but he's doing great. Nice to see you. He's a good-looking guy. Nice to see you. Thanks, Andrew. Thank you very much. So, Andrew, while you're up, now I'm going to ask a highly respected General James Seward to present Staff Sergeant Andrew Wolf and the great family of Sarah Beckstrom with the award created by our late, great President George Washington himself. It's called the Purple Heart. We love you all. Love you. We're proudly restoring safety for Americans at home, and we are also restoring security for Americans abroad. Our country has never been stronger. My first 10 months, I ended 8 wars, including Cambodia. Isn't it funny? You're sick people. Cambodia and Thailand, Pakistan and India. Would have been a nuclear war. 35 million people said the prime minister of Pakistan would have died if it were not for my involvement. Kosovo and Serbia, Israel and Iran, Egypt and Ethiopia, Armenia and Azerbaijan, the Congo and Rwanda, and of course the war in Gaza, which proceeds at a very low level. It's just about there. And I want to thank Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner for your help. Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Jared. And I also want to thank the man they report to, Secretary of State Marco Rubio. Thank you, Marco. People don't like you. You know, Marco got 100% of the votes when he was in confirmation. I think our next one was about 54%. And some of the Democrats are now saying, I can't believe we approved that guy. And he said it's an honor that they feel that way, right, Marco? You have done a great job, great Secretary of State. I think he'll go down as the best ever. Under the ceasefire I negotiated, every single hostage, both living and dead, has been returned home. Can you believe that? Nobody thought it was possible. Nobody thought that was possible. Both living and dead. And those parents who had a dead son, their boy, they'd always tell me their boy, they wanted him as much as though he were living. That was an amazing period of time. And they came back, and when we got all of the living hostages back, and many, many before them, but I always said those last 20 are going to be very tough, but we got many, many more, hundreds. But I said those last 20 are going to be tough. We got them back, but we only got back 14 or 15 of the dead of the 28. And believe it or not, Hamas worked along with Israel, and they dug and they dug and they dug. It's a tough thing to do, going through bodies all over, passing up 100 bodies sometimes for each one that they found. Tough job. And they finally got it back to 27. And then Steve and Jared, they got it back to 28. They found all 28. Nobody thought that was possible, but we did it. And I remember the family of the 28th. They were so grieved, but they were so happy as it's possible to be. They had their boy back. The mother said, "Sir, we have our boy back." What a period of time that was, but we got them all back. So thank you both very much. Great job. And we're working very hard to end the 9th war, the killing and slaughter between Russia and Ukraine, where 25,000 soldiers are dying each and every month. Think of that, 25,000 soldiers are dying a month. A war which would have never happened if I were president, would have never happened. As president, I will make peace wherever I can, but I will never hesitate to confront threats to America wherever we must. That's why in a breakthrough operation last June, the United States military obliterated Iran's nuclear weapons program with an attack on Iranian soil known as Operation Midnight Hammer. For decades, it had been the policy of the United States never to allow Iran to obtain a nuclear weapon. Many decades. Since they seized control of that proud nation 47 years ago, the regime and its murderous proxies have spread nothing but terrorism and death and hate. They've killed and maimed thousands of American service members and hundreds of thousands and even millions of people with what's called roadside bombs. They were the kings of the roadside bomb. And we took out Soleimani. I did that during my first term. Had a huge impact. He was the father of the roadside bomb. And just over the last couple of months with the protests, they've killed at least, it looks like 32,000 protests, 32,000 protesters in their own country. They shot them and hung them. We stopped them from hanging a lot of them with the threat of serious violence. But this is some terrible people. They've already developed missiles that can threaten Europe and our bases overseas, and they're working to build missiles that will soon reach the United States of America. After Midnight Hammer, they were warned to make no future attempts to rebuild their weapons program, and in particular, nuclear weapons. Yet they continue. They're starting it all over. We wiped it out, and they want to start all over again, and are at this moment again pursuing their sinister ambitions. We are in negotiations with them. They want to make a deal, but we haven't heard those secret words. We will never have a nuclear weapon. My preference is to solve this problem through diplomacy. But one thing is certain, I will never allow the world's #1 sponsor of terror, which they are by far, to have a nuclear weapon. Can't let that happen. And no nation should ever doubt America's resolve. We have the most powerful military on earth. I rebuilt the military in my first term. We're going to continue to do so. Also, we just approved a $1 trillion budget. We have no choice. We have to be strong because hopefully we will seldom have to use this great power that we built together. It's really called Peace Through Strength, and it's been very, very effective.
With all the immigration and refugees out of Muslim countries, I really don't think Iran would use a nuke on anybody but one state, one country over there.
We're investing that record number of dollars, have no choice, in the United States Armed Forces. Also creating a lot of jobs, but we're not even doing it for that reason. Because as I said, we have more jobs, more people working today than ever before in the history of our country. And NATO countries are friends and allies. They are. They're our friends and they're our allies. Have just agreed at my very strong request to pay 5% of GDP for military defense rather than the 2%, which they weren't paying. We were paying for almost all of NATO. Now they're paying 5 as opposed to not paying 3. And getting that 5% was something which everyone said would never be done, could not happen. We got it really easily with one meeting. And big difference between 2% that's not paid. We were paying the freight of many of them. Very few were paid up. Now 5%, then they're paid. And everything we send over to Ukraine is sent through NATO, and they pay us in full. They pay us totally in full. Every branch of our armed forces is setting records for recruitment. This is so exciting. And every service member recently. And every service member recently received a warrior dividend of $1,776. You know, they put it on my desk. We got the money from tariffs and other things, a lot of money we have. We have much more money than people understand. Have to rebuild that program a little bit, but it won't take long. But we got the money, and it was $1,775, and they wanted my approval. And I said, what's the number? $1,775. I said, wait a minute, for $1 more, we can have $1,776. It's going to. I said, we're going to figure that. I never asked anybody if we could afford it. $1 more, I said $1,776. And I said, that's good. And I'll tell you what, our military, that was 4 months ago, our military, I never see a person in the military that doesn't thank me for it. So we're honored to do it. They deserve it. And we call it 1776. It was great. And we love our military. We love our law enforcement. We love our firemen. You know, the firemen don't get mentioned enough. We love our firemen. We're also restoring American security and dominance in the Western Hemisphere, acting to secure our national interests and defend our country from violence, drugs, terrorism, and foreign interference. For years, large swaths of territory in our region, including large parts of Mexico, really large parts of Mexico,
here we go,
have been controlled by murderous drug cartels. That's why I designated these cartels as foreign terrorist organizations, and I declared illicit fentanyl as a weapon of mass destruction. And with our new military campaign, we have stopped record amounts of drugs coming into our country and virtually stopped it completely coming in by water or sea. You probably noticed that. We very seriously damaged their fishing industry also. Nobody wants to go fishing anymore. We've also taken down one of the most sinister cartel kingpins of all. You saw that yesterday. In January, elite American warriors carried out one of the most complex, spectacular feats of military competence and power in world history. No one's seen anything like it. Foreign leaders, I won't tell you who, called me and they said, very impressive, very impressive. They couldn't believe, they all watched, they saw what happened. This is a different fighting force that we had years ago when we fought to tie. You know, it's a great fighting force. I'm so proud of it. Look at Space Force. Space Force is my baby because we did that. My baby is becoming so important. And America's armed forces overwhelmed all defenses and utterly defeated an enemy, good fighters, to end the reign of outlaw dictator Nicolas Maduro and bring him to face American justice. And this was an absolutely colossal victory for the security of the United States, and it also opens up a bright new beginning for the people of Venezuela. We're working closely with the new president of Venezuela, Delcy Rodriguez, to unleash extraordinary economic gains for both of our countries and to bring new hope to those who have suffered so terribly. They really did suffer. With us tonight is Alejandro Gonzalez. She grew up in a tight-knit Venezuelan family and was especially close to her beloved Uncle Enrique. But after Enrique ran for office and opposed Maduro, he was kidnapped by Maduro's security forces and thrown into the regime's really infamous prison in Caracas. Alejandro feared she would never see her uncle again. She feared for her own life also. But since the raid, we have worked with the new leadership, and they have ordered the closure of that vile prison and released hundreds of political prisoners already, with more to come. Alejandro, I'm pleased to inform you that not only has your uncle been released, but he is here tonight. We brought him over to celebrate his freedom with you in person. Enrique, please come down.
Looked like Ilhan Omar just walked out.
Thank you, Enrique. Have a good time. Nice to have you back, Enrique. There were many heroes on that January raid to capture Maduro. Really great heroes. It was very dangerous. They knew we were coming. They were all set. But the deeds of one warrior that night will live forever in the eternal chronicles of military valor. Chief Warrant Officer 5, Eric Slover, planned the mission and was the flight lead in the cockpit of the first helicopter. A big, beautiful, powerful helicopter. It was a massive Chinook carrying, as you can imagine, many, many American warfighters. Wearing the dog tags, his wife Amy had blessed with holy water before he left. She knew it was going to be a rough one. Eric steered the Chinook under the cover of night and descended swiftly upon Maduro's heavily protected military fortress. This was a major military installation, protected by thousands of soldiers and guarded by Russian and Chinese military technology. How did that work out? Not too good. While preparing to land, enemy machine guns fired from every angle, and Eric was hit very badly in the leg and hip, one bullet after another. He absorbed 4 agonizing shots, shredding his leg into numerous pieces. And yet, despite the fact that the use of his legs was vital to successful helicopter flight, legs are the most important part of flying a helicopter, to deliver the many commandos who would capture and detain Maduro was the only thing Eric was thinking about. Then, even as he was gushing blood, which was flowing back down the aisle, helicopter lands at a steep angle. The machine guns stood right in front of him. They were right in front of him, 2 machine gunners who escaped the wrath of the previous planes. Eric maneuvered his helicopter with all of those lives and souls to face the enemy and let his gunners eliminate the threat. Turned the helicopter around so the gunners could take care of business, saving the lives of his fellow warriors from what could have been a catastrophic crash deep in enemy territory. Only after safely landing the helicopter with all the warriors aboard in the exact right spot, which was vital to the mission, probably would have happened. Maybe cancel the mission if that didn't happen. Eric told his co-pilot, also wounded, but not as gravely, to take over. I'm about ready to pass out. The success of the entire mission and the lives of his fellow warriors hinge on Eric's ability to take this searing pain. It was unbelievable what's happened to his legs of the bullets and keep on flying and landing. And people knew what was happening. Everybody in the back of the helicopter knew because they saw the blood pouring down the aisle. Chief Warrant Officer Slover is still recovering from his serious wounds, but I'm thrilled to say that he is here tonight with his wife, Amy, Eric, and Amy. Come on in. So we have a surprise for Eric and Amy. In recognition of Eric's actions above and beyond the call of duty, I would now like to ask General Jonathan Braga to present Chief Warrant Officer Slover with our nation's highest military award, the Congressional Medal of Honor. Well, thank you very much, Eric and Amy. Great to get to know you. I met with them and with a lot of their fellow warriors at Fort Bragg recently. You notice the name Fort Bragg. We have it back. We brought it back. We won the First World War with it, the Second World War with it, and then they decided to change the name. So we changed it back. Everybody wanted to change back too. And 10 of Eric's fellow warriors from that incredible night of victory will also be receiving medals at a private ceremony that will soon be held at the White House. And Eric will be there. Thank you. Thank you, Eric. That's a big one. Tonight we've celebrated many truly extraordinary American patriots, but there is one last living legend to honor before we go. He is one more heroic American aviator, Navy fighter pilot. Royce Williams served in World War II, Korea, Vietnam, flying more than 220 missions. In the skies over Korea in 1952, Royce was in the dogfight of a lifetime, legendary dogfight. Flying through blizzard conditions, his squadron was ambushed by 7 Soviet fighter planes. It was his first aerial combat of the war, and despite being massively outnumbered and outgunned, Royce led the takedown of 4 enemy jets and almost destroyed the others, vanquishing his adversaries while taking 263 bullets to his own plane and being seriously hurt. His story was secret for over 50 years. He didn't even want to tell his wife, but the legend grew and grew. But tonight, at 100 years old, this brave Navy captain is finally getting the recognition he deserves. He was a legend long before this evening. Royce, please stand up, and I will ask the First Lady of the United States to present Captain Royce Williams with his Congressional Medal of Honor. Thank you, Royce, and thank you, Eric. I've always wanted the Congressional Medal of Honor, but I was informed I'm not allowed to give it to myself, and I wouldn't know why I'd be taking it, but if they ever open up that law, I will be there with you someday. But you know, that's our highest honor, Congressional Medal of Honor, and that's a big thing, and it's an honor to be in the same room with you. Thank you both very much, Eric. Thank you. Thank you. 250 years is a long time in the life of a nation, but in another sense, it's really a mere moment in the eye of history. Two of the gentlemen we met in the gallery this evening took their first breaths 1 century ago, 100 years before that, on July 4th, 1826, the author of the Declaration of Independence, brilliant, Thomas Jefferson, drew his last breath. Just a single long human lifespan separates the giants who declared and won our independence from the heroes who stand among us tonight. Everything our nation has done, everything we have achieved, has been the work of those few great lifetimes. In those brief chapters, Americans built this nation from 13 humble colonies into the pinnacle of human civilization and human freedom, the strongest, wealthiest, most powerful, most successful nation in all of history. Americans ventured out across the daunting and dangerous continent. We carved paths through an unforgiving wilderness, settled a boundless frontier, and tamed the beautiful but very, very dangerous Wild West. From empty marshes and wide open plains, we raised up the world's greatest cities. Together, we mastered the world's mightiest industries and shattered history's monstrous tyrannies. And we liberated millions from the chains of fascism, communism, oppression, and terror. Americans lifted humanity into the skies on the wings of aluminum and steel And then we launched mankind into the stars on rockets powered by sheer American will and unyielding American pride. We wired the globe with our ingenuity. We captivated the planet with American culture. And now we are pioneering the next great American breakthroughs that will change the entire world. All of this and so much more is the enduring legacy, unmatched glory of the hardworking patriots who built and defended this country and who still carry the hopes and freedoms on all of humanity's backs. For years, they were forgotten, betrayed, and cast aside. But that great betrayal is over, and they will never be forgotten again. Because when the world needs courage, daring, vision, and inspiration, it is still turning to America. And when God needs a nation to work his miracles, he knows exactly who to ask. There is no challenge Americans cannot overcome, no frontier too vast for us to conquer, no dream too bold for us to chase, no horizon too distant for us to claim. For our destiny is written by the hand of providence, and these first 250 years were just the beginning. From the rugged border towns of Texas to the heartland villages of Michigan, from the sun-kissed shores of Florida to the endless fields of the Dakotas, and from the historic streets of Philadelphia to right here in our nation's capital, Washington, D.C., the golden age of America is upon us. The revolution that began in 1776 has not ended. It still continues because the flame of liberty and independence still burns in the heart of every American patriot. And our future will be bigger, better, brighter, bolder, and more glorious than ever before. Thank you, God bless you, and God bless America.
And there we have it, President Trump in the State of the Union at 1 hour, 48 minutes. That's a record even for this president. Has given long States of the Union before, joint addresses to Congress. This will go down in history as his longest yet. He spoke tonight, shaking the hand there of the Vice President, House Speaker Mike Johnson as well, and that gavel that the Speaker used, George Washington's, to mark this 250th year. The President looking out into that chamber tonight, filled with Republicans and many Democrats, though many did not show up this evening. He spoke at length about the economy, talked about a number of indicators as he saw it as positive. Inflation slowing, gas prices down, some grocery prices coming down. He said beef is finally turning.
Sorry about that, y'all. Dragon Slayer, I wanted to read this. Bro, I just caught the opening of the Democrats' State of the People's Union. Holy crap, man. Right off the bat, they say they are going to reclaim Christianity from white Christian nationalists. Okay. And this show partially brought to you by Dragon Slayer. Thank you so much, brother, for the love. Keeping the lights on. Says, remember, the only people arrested from old Jeff's files were himself, Maxwell, and a foreign prince, but not by our country. Actual and legitimate accountability needs to be had. Keeping the lights on, bro. I appreciate that. I thought we would pull this other, this alternate version, right? This alternate universe over here. Okay, that way no one can say we're an echo chamber, the missus says. All right. We have the People's Union here. We're just going to listen to some of this.
It's your first day? Sound guy. That was a inside joke between me and you.
Dump Trump, dump Trump, dump Trump, dump Trump, dump Trump.
Looks cold and lonely. All right. If you guys don't mind, I'm If you guys don't mind, I'm going to go ahead and jump ahead till someone steps out here.
Want to go through here? But not right now. Uh-huh.
All right, we got somebody coming out real quick. I just want to do a quick shout out to anyone who has supported us through super chats, any channel members. I want to send a bro fist right there to you guys. A much love right there. And thank you so much, everybody, for joining us. Before we get into this next segment, I wanted to just point over here at the Unspecified merch, the Unspecified stuff. All the links for support can be found in the description down below. Grab yourself a nice hoodie. History is in edit mode, a t-shirt, maybe an Unspecified hoodie. It's really cool. I don't know if anyone even knows about this. God never fails. People do. Okay. Really cool. Grab yourself a sticker. Okay. I'm here to chew bubble gum and change maps, and I'm all out of bubble gum. Okay. Y'all think it's a joke until we get Greenland. Okay. Okay. You think it's funny. All right. We already changing Gulf of America. All right. All right. It's not a joke. All right. Check out some of Mrs. Unspecified's handiwork over there. Link in the description. Unspecified stuff at Teespring. Let's see. We'll get into this.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Katie Bethel, and I'm the executive director of Move On. Move On is one of the largest progressive advocacy organizations in the country. We're a force of millions with members in every congressional district in America. And on behalf of our members and our co-hosts, the Midas Touch.
Much love, Indy. Thank you so much for hanging out with us this evening. Have a very blessed night.
Network. It is my privilege to welcome you to the People's State of the Union. Some of you may know that giving a State of the Union address, or at least a report, is part of the job of the president. It's constitutionally required. So in a great shift, Donald Trump is following the law tonight. So why are we boycotting? Why are we boycotting the State of the Union? We're boycotting because we know that Donald Trump's State of the Union will bear no resemblance to what's actually happening in this country today. He will lie, distort, and ignore the real stories. He's not going to talk about the killings of innocent people. He's not going to talk about the thousands of people who are afraid every day because of ICE roaming their streets. He's not going to talk about the victims of Jeffrey Epstein. And he will not talk about the millions of people who've lost their health care on his watch. But Move On members, the millions of people who've been protesting at No King's protests, the American people, we know the true state of our union. We've seen it and we're living it, and it is not normal. We've asked our leaders this last year, don't treat this like business as usual. Fight for us. Folks, tonight, we're coming out swinging.
I bet.
Largest organized boycott of any State of the Union ever. Behind me on this stage are members of Congress and their guests who have all personally experienced the harms of the Trump administration. They represent millions more. They represent all of us. I want to personally thank our members of Congress here tonight for your act of defiance, for breaking.
Real quick, guys, before that link gets too far, click that link right there, Independent Mini United, right there in chat. Go subscribe over at my friend's channel. Okay, has an excellent live stream Mondays. Highly suggest. She does backstage speakeasies, where everybody can hang out backstage, watch movies. It's awesome. Okay. It's a really great community, really great conversation, excellent music, original stuff. It's really good. Go check it out.
A norm to stand up for our values. And I want to thank our special guests who you're going to hear from tonight for your courage. You represent the best of America, and you make us all want to be brave. This moment is only possible because of people's bravery. The first boycott of the State of the Union was conducted by the founders of the Congressional Black Caucus during the Nixon administration. We honor their example. We honor the millions of patriots who've turned out over the last year in marches across this country. And we honor every person who showed up, who's risked something, who's cared for a neighbor, even when it was safer to do nothing. That courage led the way to this moment, but we have to make sure that the road doesn't stop here. We need you, everybody joining us here on the Capitol Mall tonight, and everybody watching online. Come to the March 28th No Kings protest and stand up for this country. Before I introduce our hosts for tonight, I just want to give a special thanks to all of.
I think it's really important to get the perspective of the other side. What, when your enemy speaks, listen. That's kind of the logic.
The people behind the scenes who helped to make tonight happen. Move On staff, the staff who serve our congressional representatives and senators here tonight, our partners. Thank you so much. This is no small task to put on a historic event to fight for our country. Thank you. And now I'd like to introduce you to our hosts, independent journalists Joy Reid and Katie Fang. And while they come to the stage, I want to thank you for being here. I want to thank you for being brave. And I want to thank you for being a part of building the America we can all be proud of. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. Good evening, everyone. Are you guys excited to be here? Yeah. That's right. Come on, I am Joy Reid, host of the Joy Reid Show.
And I'm Katie Fang, host of the Katie Fang News Channel.
And we are both exes of the artist formerly known as MSNBC. We are so excited to be here. Please give one more round of applause.
So excited to be cold.
To these members
of Congress.
The reason that I am so excited to be here is that, as we just heard from the wonderful folks at Move On and Midas Touch, please give them a round of applause. It takes courage to stand out.
It does. And look, if you turn around and you look amongst us, it's not just the people that are here. It's hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people in the United States and across the world that are defending democracy, but they need the courage and the bravery of our members of Congress and our electeds to make sure that democracy is defended.
Indeed. And so tonight we are not going to hear a false State of the Union. We are going to hear the true state of our union from the people who are being impacted by the policies that are taking place at the hands of someone who has demonstrated no love for the Constitution, for the truth, or for the care and concern of the American people. It's much more important to hear what people are truly facing and going through. That's what you're going to hear tonight.
The American people deserve the truth. They do not need more lies from this regime. So tonight you are going to hear people that have been impacted directly by the bullshit of this administration.
And because
So we were watching something with honor and decorum and order. Okay. Did you not see? And now listen to this.
Also a church girl.
Sorry, Jordan, for my language.
Oh no, I'm a cussing Christian, sis. It's all good. I'm a cussing Christian. But we want to start off this night by doing something that I think is so important, Katie. And
So not currently walking in the faith. Okay.
That is reclaiming the Christian voice from white Christian nationalism, which not only threatens our...
The only people calling it white Christian nationalism is y'all. You get that? Over here on our side, it's for everybody. No one's calling it white. No one's excluding it except y'all.
Freedom, but also threatens a very important faith throughout this world. Christianity is not what you have been sold by Project 2025. So right now, to do our invocation, meaning we're going to invoke the spirit of...
Hold on a second. Hold on. Wait. Hold up.
So right now, to do our invocation, meaning we're going to invoke the spirit of freedom, liberty, and justice. Please put your hands together for the Reverend Paul Brandeis Rauschenbusch.
Hold on.
2025.
The only person talking about Project 2025, again, is y'all. There's a lot of rhetoric, a lot of make-believe, and it comes... look, okay.
Right now, Brandeis Rauschenbusch.
Thank you, Joy and Katie. Hello, everybody. Hello, America. Let me start by saying that my soul is so glad to be here with the People's State of the Union. I come to you as the president of Interfaith Alliance and as a Baptist minister with good news. We, the people, have the power. Is that good news? All across America, people of diverse faiths and beliefs are showing up, are speaking out, and are proving that love for our neighbors and commitment to our democracy will prevail against the cruelty, immorality, and authoritarianism of this administration. Let me speak plainly as an American and as a Baptist minister. The Trump administration is the most hostile to religious freedom in generations. They attack any religious leader or community not in lockstep with their political agenda. The White House, the Pentagon, the Department of Justice, and ICE have weaponized religion for their white Christian nationalist crusade, which attempts to define who is a true American, conveniently made in their own image, and relegate all the rest of us to second-class status. While President Lincoln famously prayed to be on God's side, Trump instead blasphemously boasts that God is in fact on his side. In Trump's mind, God is little more than a divine mascot for his political team.
Well said.
But enough about that unpopular man. Tonight, we will focus and celebrate the people of America. Tonight, we will recognize all those to whom harm has been done. But we will also give thanks for the brave witness of the faith and community leaders in Minnesota, in Chicago, in Charlotte, in Portland, and here in Washington, D.C., and in towns large and small everywhere across America who are standing up against the abuse and inhumanity of ICE. We give thanks for every single person around this country who has put their faith or values into action by resisting government-sanctioned cruelty with moral courage and solidarity with our neighbors from every background. We give thanks to God for the power and the promise of love, and what Dr. King called the beloved community that is both coming and present now if we choose to make it real in our democracy. I believe we are in the midst of the next great awakening in America, a spiritual movement dedicated to creating a nation where every person has dignity and value, where every community and faith tradition is treated equally, and nobody gets left behind this time. We, the people, have the power out of many through love. May we be one. My friends, the spiritual state of our union is strong. So help us God. Amen.
Y'all should be well in the spirit at this point. Is everybody in the spirit? That's right. We're going to call the spirit of our ancestors to make sure that we do justice on tonight. And we are going to start with one of the true fighters in the United States Senate and his very important guest. So please put your hands together for Senator Chris Murphy and Thank you.
Good evening, America. I want you first to give a big round of applause to my guest, refugee and immigrant advocate from Connecticut, Farishte Ganjave. Okay, so I am not at the State of the Union speech tonight because Donald Trump is making a mockery of this great institution, and he doesn't deserve an audience. I'm not at the State of the Union speech tonight because these are not normal times, and Democrats have.
The only one making a mockery is this buffoonery. Okay. So, look. Just listen to them talk. Okay. Listen to this. Anti-ICE protesters in Portland, Oregon are now openly saying they support political violence. Okay.
Like you just said, I will.
Who do you think the real racists are?
They are definitely 100%, Nick.
Because, I mean, you're black, I'm white.
I'm black, but you heard what they call me.
Hey, the black conservative preacher. Love that guy.
Because you are, dude.
Wow.
You gonna pretend you're not?
I got a black friend right here.
Oh, really? Oh, really? Oh, okay.
It's
true. Oh, really?
Yeah.
You're not a racist piece of shit upholding white supremacy right now, you piece of shit.
Fucking Uncle Tom.
There you go. Be racist. Be
See,
racist.
so
I know you will, right? Like you just said, I will.
Who do you think the real racists are?
They are definitely 100%, Nick.
Because, I mean, you're black, I'm white.
I'm black, but you heard what they call me. I'm a white supremacist as well. Uncle Tom, everything. So.
Do you think logic has totally left the brains of these people?
100%, man. I mean, you hear how they talk. They're stupid.
Do the Charlie Kirk.
Do you condemn political violence?
No, I fucking don't. Charlie Kirk.
Oh,
Fuck you.
Fuck
you.
Is that kind of like fascists like to kill your political opposition?
No, you have no idea what fascism is. Get the fuck out of my face with that shit, bro. I will fuck you up, bro. I'm violent as fuck, bro. Find out. You want to find out how violent I am? You want to find out? Get the fuck out of here.
You leave.
You're a fucking Nazi. You're a white nationalist.
Oh, okay, thank you very much.
You want me to be
That's
peaceful
not
with
true.
the fucking Nazis? Yeah, sure. I see
I'm
you
not a
fucking
Nazi, so you
content
should go
pig.
find some other ones.
I know who you are, you fucking piece of shit. I know
Ooh,
you're a
you should
fucking
subscribe.
Nazi.
Come on, dude. PSA, we are a constitutional republic, not a democracy. Dude. I honestly don't know if I can sit through it. I mean, I think it's just going to be a bunch of hogwash. No, there's no substance. It's just going to be a bunch of, what is it, gallivanting. Well, let me see here. I think it was, with all of our issues aside, that was an incredible, strong speech, right? I mean, if we're, look. Dragon Slayer, thank you, brother, for the support. Thank you so much, everybody else out there, channel members. and anybody else supporting us. I think that's it, man. I think that concludes the State of the Union address. These moments always carry a lot of weight, and regardless of perspective, it's important that people take the time to see and hear these things directly for themselves. That's what this space is about. Not telling you what to think, but making sure you have a place where you can witness events as they unfold and be a part of a community paying attention. I appreciate every single one of you for spending your time here tonight. Whether you spoke up in chat or simply watched quietly, we love our lurkers. Your presence matters more than you know. If you found value in being here, consider subscribing and becoming part of this community long term. We'll continue covering major events as they happen, keeping an eye on Mexico, Iran, and the U.S. and any other conflicts or situations that we need to be paying attention to. We love you guys. Again, Dragon Slayer, I salute you, brother. Thank you so much for helping keep the lights on around here and helping us stay independent. No corporate overlords or tentacles over here, my friend. Okay, but algorithmically hated. So if you guys would bless us by clicking that link right there, grab the URL, send it to the friends in the group chat, it would be much appreciated. Word of mouth is still the most powerful form of advertising, and at this point, we rely on it. And if you want to smash the like button on the way out, it'd be a blessing, guys. Look, until next time, we will see you guys out there. Much love. Love the lurkers. Love the chatters. Chatters matters. Much love, everybody. Bro fist. Good night, y'all.